without further ado, I'd like to introduce author Michael Bart Mathews. Financially speaking, the best improvement starts with self-improvement. Create your own economic stimulus plan.
I would have kissed her, but that's personal. First, I'm going to read a poem, which is the first poem in my book, and it's titled, "The Best Improvement Starts with Self-Improvement." When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Are you that person that you want to be? While going through life, do you think in your mind, I know I was made just one of a kind? Yard by yard, life can be hard, but inch by inch, life is a cinch. Self-improvement may be hard to accept. You know in your heart, you should not reject. In your elder days, when you look back and say, I gave life my all until my very last day. Learn all you can while your mind is sharp, because unused knowledge will one day depart. I use the Kindle because the book is also in the ebook format, so I just wanted to read it off the Kindle so you can see it's also downloadable in ebook format. So what is some interview questions as I've been going across the circuit speaking and having book signings, and we came up with a few questions that most interviewers interviewed me about, and other speakers, along with when I had the opportunity to grace the stage, which Mike did, which I'll go into that a little bit later. What inspired me to write Financially Speaking, the best improvement starts with self-improvement? Well, I realized one day that I really needed a financial checkup from the neck up. You know, we can get so caught up into what we're doing, and all of a sudden you look at your spreadsheet and you're at a negative. I was that person at one point. And I shouldn't have been that person, because my wife worked for along with Chicago money expert Michelle, they both worked at a Fortune 500 company that did $600 more million, it would have been $1 billion company. So the kind of information and material and minds that they were around, there's no way I should have let my finances get to where they were. But when you're making money, you're spending money, and you're not watching your spreadsheet or balancing your checkbook, things can happen. And that happened to me early in my career. So we decided to write our book in order to share our newfound financial literacy education program and connect you guys with people who we know can help you change how you think, act, and feel about money. And I was inspired also about the 2007-2008 financial downturn when I wrote my first book, which we're not selling today. I'm just saying this is how long I've been in the writing business as a published author, since 2007, to ensure that I do self-improvement for my own personal financial literacy education. Because when you're around people who deal with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of mergers, acquisitions, and assets that can put money back into your pocket, then I had to step up my game, because my game used to be basketball. It wasn't personal finances. It wasn't corporate finances. It wasn't about what Safe Money Coach Michelle is going to speak to you about when she gets up here and speaks. I won't steal her thunder. I'll just let her tell you about all of that. Why is this book different from other books on the market? If you continue to do the same thing and expect a different outcome, we all know that's the definition of what?
Insanity.
Insanity. So why are so many people insane to think they can retire if they don't balance the budget, get out of debt, then save, then learn how to invest, then invest with somebody who knows you and can give you the exact things that you need? I can't figure that out for to save my life. So there are three primary reasons that I wrote this book. I literally want to help you change how you think, act, and feel about money. And to do that, there's a whole lot of different components. Just because you make money doesn't mean you're going to always have it, because it's not how much you make all the time, but it is about how much that you keep. I also share my past financial shortcomings, but I have no shame, because I failed on my way to success. Meaning I put on my big boy pants, I did my balance sheet, I knew what the deficits were, and I just changed them. It was simple as that. You just have to do it. And it includes poems at the end of the chapter, like the one I just read, to help motivate, stimulate you along the way. Because if you're not a numbers cruncher like me, financial literacy could be boring. But the literacy educational part is a necessary tool if you really want to retire and live your life and your goals and dreams, and learn how to have that asset allocation income coming into your portfolio, so your money works for you rather than you work for your money. And that's what the word retirement means. It doesn't mean that you get Social Security, Some people it does. It doesn't mean that you get a pension. Some people it does, and some people there won't be any pensions. It means that you got to build a portfolio where if you don't go to work for the rest of your retirement days, your assets will fund your life, and that's what we're here for. And thirdly, what will people gain from reading it? Like my wife said, we had the pleasure to meet Mike Dicker, and I had the pleasure to grace the stage and interview Mike Dicker. And I asked him a question, and this is what the question was. I said, I am Mike, Coach, I am Mike. Let me ask you a question. And the question was, you know, several athletes have lost millions and millions of dollars. What would your advice be to those athletes in order for them to understand and then learn to manage their financial income? And Mike's response was, that was one of the best questions that somebody has asked them. And he further said, that's what he advocates all the time. So he went into the story about some of the principles that are in my book, some of the principles that Safe Money Coach Michelle is going to talk about in her speech, about how those professional athletes can have a better financial future, which trickles down to us as well. We're not professional athletes, but we get a check, in other words. So his influence and conversation is good for us as well. Also, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we launched our book at the same place at the same time in May. I've had the luxury of taking a picture with him, meeting him. And in a short conversation, these are exact Kareem's words. I'm not comfortable being preachy, but more people have to start spending as much time in the library as they do on the basketball court or on your jobs or whatever it is that you do. If they took the idea that they could escape poverty through education, I think it would make a more basic and long-lasting change in the way things happen. So you have two Hall of Famers, two All-Americans, two people who are worth millions, telling us that with literacy and education, our subject is financial. If you educate yourself and get around a certain key people that can guide you and give you these pushes and motivations, you can be financially free. So my answer is becoming financially literate is crucial to protecting your financial future. I don't want millennials or yourself or myself to make the same mistakes that my generation has made and some continue to make. You can have all the success if you want to, but if you know and understand the importance of the numbers, which Michelle is going to talk about as well, that impact your financial future, such as your net worth. Your assets and liabilities equal your net worth. How many people know their net worth in the room? Okay, that's a few. But if everybody else knew their net worth, if it was positive or negative, whatever it is your net worth. Or your cash flow, if it's negative, what we can do to help you get out of debt. If it's positive, what you can do to save and learn how to invest. Your credit score, the less you make, the lower your score, the higher interest rate. The higher your score, the less interest rate. Your debt to income ratio, or your PSA for men and your blood pressure. With that being said, I have a few more things I want to say, but I'm going to close with this last poem that's in my book. So now I've covered basically some of the things from the front to the back cover. And the last poem is called A Real Hard Look. Now that you read this book, step back and take a real hard look. Is your money low and your debts high? Did your misjudgments cause a tear in your eye? Is your credit bad from spending all you had? Are you doing just fine and feeling really glad? Should you make some changes to stay on track? Your once good credit, you can build it back. No more excuses, that's enough you see, because self-improvement will help set you free. The subtitle is The Best Improvement Starts with Self-Improvement. And with that, without further ado, I'm gonna bring my wife back up and she's gonna do her thing.